Mark, congratulations. How does it feel to now be the long-term appointment as Rotherham United boss?
It feels amazing. It's obviously when I first spoke to you, it feels like about 3 years ago, but it was about 12 days. That when I said, like, if I die a happy man, knowing I've been Rotherham manager, and it probably is even more now. It's been a whirlwind, as you know, a lot of games, but had a lot of conversations around how we move the club forward, how it looks, making good decisions on and off the pitch, and making sure that we're all aligned on short, medium and long-term goals. And it's an opportunity that massively excites me. I'm well aware it's centenary next year, and there's a number of things that have come into it, but first and foremost, just managing this club. If you'd have told me when I was a little kid that I was going to do that, I probably wouldn't have believed you. So just a huge honour.
How much of the first 4 games that you've had in charge really whet your appetite to have this gig long term?
Massively, really. I think the reaction from the fans, the reaction from the players, the that's a feel good factor, but just seeing people smile again. Like, I'm obviously from area, I live in area. I've had conversations with a number of people, and even had conversations sometimes when I didn't want to. And people, you know, are passionate about the football club, and they should be. And look, we want to try and get results, and we've had results in this 4-game short period, but it has to be a lot longer sighted than that. And it's important that this obviously decision's been made like quickly, and really decisive from chairman and board of directors, which is obviously really pleasing for me. They've made me feel wanted, they've made me feel valued, and that's important. But I'm well aware that you're going to get judged on what happens on the football pitch. But it just gives me now a real clear identity as to how we can move forward. We can implement a lot of things, staffing, things on and off the pitch, recruitment. So yeah, there's a number of things that I can't wait to get my teeth into. And I've said all along, every decision I make will be for the long-term future of this football club. It won't be for here and now. And it's important that certainly the fans hear that, and make sure that they're part of this long-term journey, which is the commitment that the club given to me, and one that I want to repay massively.
Are you keen to create something that is long-lasting for this football club?
Definitely. I'm keen to. Every time a fan walks to this stadium, I want them to feel like this could be the best memory they've had, and I think you should have that in football. And it could be the worst game you've ever seen, but also it could be the game that you talk about for 25 years, or the moment, whether that's a save, a goal, a chance, an opportunity. And I think that's important. I want people to come to our amazing stadium and go away from it knowing what a Rotherham United team is, what we stand for, what we represent, and make sure that there's smiles on people's faces, and they can go away. And I understand about results. I understand you want to win every game. Look, I want to win everything I ever do in life, but I'm well aware that you can't always do that. But I want the fans to, whenever they're walking home or going home or going to a pub for a drink, know that the team's given everything they've possibly got today. And we may have fallen short, but it wasn't for the lack of desire.
Paul, what were your first impressions of Matt as the boss in his last couple of weeks?
Well, you know, I've had previous experience working with Matt as our under 18s academy coach, and then as the first team development coach under Paul. And you know, throughout that time, I personally have always been impressed with Matt as a football coach and as a football mind. He's always had innovative and interesting ideas. And obviously these experiences he's had as the coach under Paul and then at Derby have given him that extra layer of experience to add to his ideas. So I was always personally felt that Matt would be a great fit for us. And you know, irrespective of the results, I felt that he would come in and make a difference, and he's made a bigger difference than I think any of us could have anticipated. But personally, I'm not that surprised, because I know what a quality individual he is.
Apart from his credentials as a boss and as a coach, how much did it influence the board that this club has had great times with people just in the DNA of Rotherham United? You think of Roddy Moore, think of Paul Ward And Matt has got that about him as well.
Yeah, it is. I think our club is that. You're quite right. The DNA of the club is very important to us. Our owners are a local chap. Our owners have always been local people. I'm from Rotherham. Many of the staff who work in the club are from Rotherham, and you know, the people, as you say, many of the managers who've been successful have either been from the town or had a long association with the club. That's a trend that isn't that common anymore. There's been a lot of changes in football over recent years, but for us, this is still the model, and we think, and I personally think that it adds something to our club. I think we do recognise what supporters are really looking for. I think we can identify with our fan base, and I think, you know, you only have to listen to Matt. You know, we've all seen the photographs of him as a tender young thing as a mascot here, looking like any number of mascots or any number of fans who are out there every week watching the club. And he's through his own endeavours, he's come to lead it. And I personally feel that's inevitably going to bring things to the role that you wouldn't do coming from outside. So I think that's a massive thing for us.
Thanks, best of luck to you both.
Thank you.
I mean, congrats as a journalist and as a fan of this club. I'm absolutely buzzing about you full time. I'll just ask Paul the question and then come back to you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. We spoke 2 weeks ago, Paul. Things have moved quickly. He said then that the club were open to a short-term deal becoming a longer-term deal. We wasted no time.
Yeah, well, you know, I think why waste time is the answer, really. You know, Matt's come in and hit the ground running. He's impacted across all areas of the club. The evidence is being very clear on the pitch of the performance of the team in some difficult games. I think everybody we've played while Matt's been here has had a lot more to play for than perhaps we've had. And yet we've matched them for effort and everything else. So they've been really good performances, and you know, it's not like Matt's new to us either. With respect, we know the calibre of the person that he is, and it's just great to have seen the way he's come on as a coach and as an individual with his experience in the game.
Matt, local boy, local club, had you success here before? Feels right, doesn't it?
It feels right, yeah. I think, obviously, I speak to the chairman quite a lot, and he's got a saying about a comfy pair of slippers, and it kind of feels a little bit like that. Even walking into the training ground, it felt the same. Walking into the stadium, obviously with Paul and Sam and Steve Coakley, Karen, people chairman, there's loads of people who are still here, and like Paul's just rightly said, the DNA of the club runs just not through the football team, but all through all facets in every department. So, yeah, it feels really nice. It feels exciting. It feels like I want to get down to hard work, even more so if that's possible. But it just feels like a good opportunity for both sides, and one that, when this conversation started, as you're well aware, probably last week, that we were both aligned in our thinking moving forward, and I think that's certainly something that, for me personally, is really, really important. Not just here for 2 minutes and to turn results round and make everybody smile and buy a season ticket. I want to be here to make sure that this club moves forward and everybody's in it together, and we're all one, and come the end of whatever it is, that we can all look back and say, wow, that were a good time for the football club, because it's had a lot of good times, this football club.